Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Tiffany Bordonada.
And I'm Dr. Sonia Lund.
We are assistant professors in the Department of Counseling and Human Services at the University of Scranton.
We wanted to do something for the University of Scranton community to help bring us together for an evening of connection and creativity.
The value of connection improves physical health and mental well-being and also honors the mission of the university that encourages us to care for others. Due to current circumstances, maintaining connection might be difficult for some people. Therefore, we'd like to invite you to join us for an evening of community collaboration.
So grab your art supplies for an opportunity to connect and create on Tuesday, the 26th from 7 to 8 p.m. We have some fun things in store for you, and we hope to see you there.
So let's jump right in. So we're going to first start off with just a welcome with everyone. So if we could just go around, whoever wants to share first, just to just tell us your name and what role you have on campus. I think that a lot of us know each other here, but for those of us that don't know each other, we thought introductions would be helpful. So I'll let my colleague, Sonia, introduce herself, and then we'll just, whoever wants to jump in. So.
Awesome. So I'm Sonia Lund. I'm in the Counseling and Human Services Department. This is my first year here, and while it's been really untraditional, I've been very happy to join the University of Scranton community.
Yay.
Yay.
Should we let the CHS folks go first?
Sure, go ahead.
Mary, you first.
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot. So I'm Mary Troy. I'm also down in CHS. I just finished my second year full time, but I was adjunct since 2000. So I've been here a while, and I also did undergrad and grad at the U. So I've been here a long time, and I'm happy to see everybody.
Yay. And I'm Paul Dottie. I'm the director of the undergrad CHS program, the best program on campus. Just saying. Yay, right? And I was actually in the building yesterday, and it was eerily sad and empty. And I can't wait for it to be filled up again with wonderful smiling faces and all the terrific camaraderie and support that we have. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that's it for CHS.
Is that it? Yeah. Okay.
Well, wait, there's one more. Maylin.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, I'm Maylin. I was an undergrad student at the U because I'm graduating in 5 days. So, yeah, so my major was CHS and I'm staying for the grad program.
Yay!
Yay!
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I'm Barbara King. I work in the International Service Program Office for the Center for Service and Social Justice, and I'm starting my 15th year in the fall. I'm super excited. And the best thing about what Maylin just introduced herself, but I'm so excited that she's going to be back next year.
Yay.
I hate saying goodbye, and so it's nice to have one more year to do that.
We
Or
love
two
to
or
keep
three.
them. We love to keep them. It's,
Yeah, for sure.
It's so great.
So I'm Anne. I graduated from the Health Admin Department
Yay.
last May, and I worked in Scranton for the past year. I just started working in Hartford today, so I'm just happy to be here.
Great. Thanks for joining us, Anne.
I'll go. I'm Amy Similo. I am in the Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence, and I'm the faculty development specialist there. So I work with all the faculty on different teaching practices that they might want to employ. And this is the end of my third year, right? Third year, right, Tiffany? She started at
Yeah, we started at the same time. Yeah.
Thank you for being my timekeeper. For the
You're welcome. And thank you for all your feedback on all of my PowerPoints. So Sonia and I welcome your feedback on this PowerPoint as well.
Definitely. No, come on.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Amy. Who's next?
I'm Ernie. I'm a grad student in the clinical mental health program.
Woohoo!
Hi, Ernie.
Hey.
Hi, Ernie.
Ernie, can I tell you that succulent lasted 2 years, longer than any plant I ever owned.
Succulents are the best.
Awesome.
Very minimal care.
All right, who's next? Who hasn't gone?
I'll go. I'm Shayna. I'm a rehab counseling student, and I'm also a graduate assistant. And I just finished my second semester.
Who did so much great work this past
you
semester.
did, Shayna. Awesome.
Literally.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was so unbelievably helpful.
I was happy to help, definitely.
Well, you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll go. I'm Deborah Pellegrino, and I love PCPS, and I'm sorry I was on the telephone.
That's
fine. But I was here.
That's right. Thanks for joining us, Dean
Yay.
Pellegrino. Nice to see you.
I'll go. I'm Melissa. I'm a graduate student in the clinical mental health counseling program. And I also went to the U as an undergrad. So I love the U.
Melissa, what was your undergrad in?
Psychology.
Oh. There's okay, I'll
Terrible.
Stop. I'll
Terrible.
Stop. It's a wonderful degree. I have
It is wonderful.
I have a bachelor's in psychology as well too.
Yeah, me too.
Had I known if I knew there was a CHS undergrad degree, I probably would have went in that direction. But that's me.
We're glad you came to the light side.
Thank you, history major.
All right, I'll go. I'm Marissa Webster. I'm actually just a friend of Sonia, and I'm here to support her with this event. Hi, Paul.
Hi, Marissa.
Hi.
She's my biggest supporter. I love her so much.
Yay. Thanks for joining us, Marissa. Nice to see you.
No problem.
Marissa, do you realize that you're the only you were part of the only social gathering that I've had at all, besides with my friends on the block here who work at the U. At all for the past 2 months. So it was an honor to play video games with you on a Sunday afternoon.
Yes, you as well. It was a ton of fun.
Did we get everyone?
I might be the last one.
Oh, Amy. Yeah, the other Amy.
So I am Amy Foda. I work in the Center for Service and Social Justice with Barbara and coordinate the domestic outreach service trip programs, as well as some other initiatives. And this is going on my 5th year here at Scranton.
Great. So this is awesome. Thank you all so much again for joining us. So we'll move on to the next slide, and I'll leave it to Sonia to get us started with our first activity.
Awesome. So if you guys can just visit menti.com, you can do it either on your laptop or on your phone, and you're going to enter this code right here. I'll give you guys a second to pull that up before I start sharing my screen and you lose the code. Okay.
So let's see, Sonia, I'll stop sharing, right? And then you can.
Yes.
Okay.
Where does it tell you to enter the code?
Should be.
Go. Right when you went to menti.com, Paul, did it pop up to enter the code?
No, it just said digital transformation.
Oh.
I'll go to home and try it out. No, it doesn't.
Double check your spelling.
Did everyone else get it? Okay.
Is it 2 E's or 1? No.
Oh, 1.
I spelled it wrong.
Okay.
Thank you, Mary Troy. Always the mother figure.
I can't help it.
And then you got the code 901325. Everyone got that? Okay.
Perfect.
All right. I'll stop sharing for you, Sonia. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. So, some of you already started. Yeah. Beautiful. So when you hear the word connection, what other words come to mind for you? You can put in up to 3 words in there. Feel free to just do one, but let's see what you got. Look at how pretty it looks.
That's cool. Totally stealing this, Sonia.
Yeah, you totally can. All right, everyone got in what they want to put in? This is looking great. So we can tell by the bigger words which one is the most popular because it went ahead and put all your responses together if you all put the same ones in there. So it looks like friendship and love and relationships are really important to us all and really give us that sense of connectivity. Same with our community and just feeling linked, yeah, together. Listening, we know how important in counseling it is to actively listen and how that can make a huge difference in feeling like someone's actually there for you, right? So this is wonderful. Thank you guys. I'm actually going to let Tiffany go ahead and transition into her part now, but we're going to take some of these concepts that you came up with and use them going forward.
All right, thanks, Sonia.
Yeah.
Good job, everyone. So now we'll take us back to the PowerPoint just to get us started with our large group discussion here. All right, so everyone can see that? What is connection? PowerPoint? Okay. So when we think about connection, what really came to my mind is, for those of us who are familiar with Brené Brown, whenever she talks about connection, she's really talking about this opportunity for us to be seen, for us to be heard, for us to be able to empathize with one another and try to understand where people are coming from. And so it's really this opportunity to share, right? And so she talks about this energy exchange that we have between people. And when we engage in this type of exchange, it leads us to something meaningful, something with purpose, and that it provides a sense of belonging and then gives us an opportunity to do something good. You know, what can we engage in to offer it forward, to pay it back? And so when we think of connection in terms of your own life, what is it for you personally or professionally, you know, that comes to mind for yourself?
For me, it's networking.
Okay. Networking in terms of your type of job, Marissa, or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm in the technology field. So so networking is huge, especially if you want to try to move to other positions or move up in the world. Networking is huge. LinkedIn's our best friend.
Okay. All right. Networking. Good.
I would say for me, it's about sharing and learning with others. So like a lot of what I do is just an exchange of ideas and, you know, professionally, at least I work a lot with, you know, what do you need and how can I provide it? And then kind of supporting each other that way.
Okay. So this exchange, this mutual exchange, sharing and learning. So you're offering something, Amy, but then maybe learning to someone else too that's offering in return. Okay, good.
I think mine's a little bit harder to describe, although the counselors in the room may understand it. Like I saw a client today, well, this way, and I connected with him and I felt what he was feeling. So maybe empathy and understanding might be a good way to put it. I feel the same way about personal people in my life, my family, my friends, my partner, and the people that I work with, you know? So I could think about you, Tiffany, and say I was connected to you from day one when we're eating eggs at the Radisson. Seriously, I'm
oh, in my interview, when I came to interview? Yeah.
Literally. I felt so good after eating that breakfast. I'm like, I really, really am connected to that person. She's awesome.
Oh, thanks, Paul. It's mutual. I agree too. Yeah.
but I don't want to leave Sonia out because I feel the exact same way about her. And Mary's been yelling at me for years, so I have to.
But Paul, you make a good point, because connection, we think of a time frame for connection. Sometimes it's instant, right? When we connect with one another, and then other times, for whatever reason, it might take a little bit more time, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But connection, there is that time piece that has something to do that can determine that connection between people. Mm-hmm.
And I think it's important to put out, like, since, you know, we are a bunch of academics, that we have connections with our students as well.
Absolutely.
And sometimes they're stronger, you know, and I have one there at the bottom of my screen that I feel as if I have a very good connection with. She may or may not agree, but I think that we really have one, and that we're going to be friends and colleagues for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Right. And so time can determine connection, right? Different types of interactions determine connection. Barbara, I see that you have your hand up. What does connection mean to you, or how do you identify connection?
For me, I think it starts with my personal life, and then I'm choosing my career or my vocation because of my personality. And when I look for connections, it's really about being present, or like just connecting with someone and knowing them and being present for them, like whether it's being supportive, or, you know, knowing they're having a bad day, or just being aware and just being present and being there for someone. And I think that translates so easy into a service-oriented job. I'm just really fortunate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Being there for other people, then you can really reap that benefit too, right? So the more that you're willing to connect with someone, you find that you're benefiting from that in return.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Something as small as, or as short as being with someone on a service project and knowing them for, you know, 20 minutes versus, you know, meeting you, Tiffany, when you first came, and having so many connections that are personal from West Virginia and all the other things that we have in common.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Paul in the elevator and just being so happy to see someone that I respect and admire, and you know what I mean? It's just, there's so many wonderful ways to be present for people and to help them, or to be there for them.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And so that connection that we're talking about can be instant for like a really short period of time, but it sounds like some of the connections that some of us have made have been lasting impressions, right? For a long term. Mm-hmm. How about others? What's connection mean to you?
Well, Tiffany, I keep going back. So, and I guess this is part of the whole Corona thing too. Like, who's in my circles, and where do my circles belong? You know, and who's allowed in my well, in my house, only the people who in my house. But like, I have my family circle and my friends, and sometimes those overlap, and students and colleagues, and those overlap. And so how do I make sense of all of that? So I mean, I was going to say sense of belonging, and then I was like, I can't cheat. It's already on the screen. But it's who are my people? Who do I belong with? Mm-hmm. And that can change, you know, given circumstances, but who do I, it's that connection, that belonging. And are you in my circle? Mm-hmm. Or circles?
Sure, right. We have like maybe a primary circle, and we have a larger circle that we're a part of in different personal realms, or even a professional realm. For sure, absolutely. I think we can all relate to that too. Yeah. Other thoughts about what does connection mean, or how do you identify it in your life?
I'll add that I have always felt that connection for me with other people, whether it's family, you know, personal or professional, has happened mostly through our shared stories, like storytelling. I feel like it's such an important way for me to help to get to know other people, and to help other people get to know who I am, and you know, the things that I think are important, you know, to me in my world. And finding commonality through shared experiences and stories has been a really powerful way to connect with other people for me.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yes. What's common between us, right? So we think of that connection. We're connected based on something we share, something that we agree on, something we both understand equally. Great. So now that we're able to identify what connection means to us, it's important to also think about how have we become disconnected. You know, we think of the current circumstances that we're all experiencing right now and whether we've become physically removed from one another. Are those connections still there, or do you feel that you've become disconnected? For me, full disclosure, and Sonia and I talk about this so much because she and I are not from the Scranton area. So we have no family nearby that we can even just drive, you know, to someone's sidewalk or driveway to see them. And so we often talk about how we feel disconnected, but yet because of technology, we've been able to maintain, you know, some of those connections. And so I think for each of us, how do we become disconnected? It's really determined based on how we're trying to remain connected. So I put on this particular slide social media because oftentimes we might find ourselves that, oh, we're being somewhat quote unquote connected, but then we find ourselves just kind of scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through Instagram for no reason. And then you're really actually feeling disconnected in some type of way because what you're scrolling through has no real connection to you, right? Or sometimes we often find ourselves only communicating via text. So it really comes down to how have you become disconnected, and then what are you doing to maintain a true, authentic, genuine connection? And I think because of our circumstances, we've had to put, all of us have had to put a little bit more effort into maintaining some of those genuine connections. So for you, how have you become disconnected, or how are you trying to maintain that connection?
I could just say a couple of words. There's an obvious reason why we're disconnected, so to speak, and I think I could speak for the CHS folks, you know, in the virtual room, that we're people. We like to be in the presence of people, physical presence of people. It's fine to talk on the phone. It's fine to text. It's fine to Zoom. But I'm lucky in that during this whole quarantine, I just happened to 5 months ago buy a house with my partner, so he's here with me, and that's good. But I missed everybody else. Luckily, I have a lot of friends in the area, but I felt disconnected because I couldn't hug anyone, and I'm a huggy person. And so for the first time in a month and a half, I hugged my mother and my sister yesterday, and that made me feel really good. Made me feel connected again. And even though we've Zoomed many times and we talk all the time, we text every day and all that stuff, it was nice to do that. And the other thing that helped me feel more connected was it's kind of hard to adjust when you have a particular routine. And I didn't know what to do with this stuff. The first couple of weeks were a hot mess. But now I have a routine. And I get up and I run around the park and I come back at a certain time and I get ready for meetings and stuff that I have to do, and that helps me feel a little bit more grounded. So that's sort of what's been going on with me. But I would really, I can't wait to hug more people.
It's true, Paul. Yeah, there's a lot of research around that, right? As you know, hugging, making some type of physical connection, even if you're just sharing the couch with someone, right? And whether you're engaging in hugging or not, just physical presence has a lot to do with how we think and how we feel. So it can definitely have an impact. Mm-hmm. Other thoughts about disconnected or how you've been managing the current circumstances with maintaining connections?
Amy? Similar, Paul, I did a socially distant hike a couple of times with friends in the area, and it was really hard. I automatically went to give them a hug and then saw them kind of recoil. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We're not supposed to do that. But it would be a block in my brain the second that I saw them that I'm not supposed to, I have to stay distant from this person. But I found like the hardest thing and the most disconnecting thing is the different lifestyles of all my friends and family members now have become, it's caused a bigger problem in creating opportunity for connection. So for example, my friends that have small children and I don't have children, their routine at home and the fact that they can't pawn off their kids on the grandparents or, you know, have them go down the street to visit their friends or anything like that. So they can't get their alone time. So their ability to connect out to their friends and get on a Zoom call or get on a phone call even is that much harder for them, and their schedule is just so different. And then the times that they do get alone time away from the kid, maybe the spouse or the significant other takes them, or they're able to lock themselves in the bathroom for a few minutes or whatever, they cherish that time to themselves and don't always want to reach out to others. So I feel like that's one of the biggest hurdles is trying to coordinate different lifestyles now and still connect with each other, when it feels like, well, we're all stuck at home with nowhere to go, so we should have time to talk to each other, get on Zoom, whatever more, and that's not always the case, and that's been really strange to kind of learn.
So because of the circumstances, Amy, it's a different type of routine, different way of doing things, because we're being kind of put into this position of finding a new way of doing it. Mm-hmm. Can be difficult for sure. Other thoughts about becoming disconnected?
One thing that Sonia and I have been doing is having weekly date nights on Zoom.
Uh-huh.
That's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been really helpful since, it's been difficult to be so far away now. And we're so used to being around each other all the time. Like Friday nights, we would usually go out anyways. So now we have Friday Zoom date nights, and we drink wine and play Just Dance and have a time.
Uh-huh. So finding ways to stay connected, with the technology too, that we've all been, having the opportunity to have access to.
Yeah, I can relate to that because so every Thursday night, the Indigo Girls have been live streaming on Facebook. And so all my friends were like, get on. And we're all texting each other. As the songs come on, we're singing. Thank God nobody can hear us. But it's just a way that maybe we wouldn't have done in our regular lives, or with my family, we've been playing board games. It's a website that you can play board games together, and we video at the same time. So it's like we're all in the same room playing these board games. So that's been helpful because we are so disconnected from being able to go out, and I'm a very social person, so not being able to leave the house has been difficult. So these are ways to maintain those connections.
Good. Great, Mary.
Mary, it's interesting that you say that, and I wonder if you're experiencing this too. I've connected with a lot of people that I typically would not have connected with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, folks that I talk to a couple of times a year, all of a sudden I'm Zooming with every other week, and even that includes family members, like distant family members too, so it's kind of nice actually that in a way, it's kind of brought me closer to people that I hadn't been that close to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel the same, Paul. Mm-hmm. All right, good. Thank you all for sharing this. Oh, go ahead, Melissa. Sorry, I didn't see. Go ahead.
No, I was like, we were going to talk at the same exact time. I was just going to say, I'm very fortunate that my friend, we kind of like to do things a little bit different, so not on technology all the time because we are on all the time. So she wrote me a letter and sent it to me, so I'm writing a letter and sending it back to her. So a little bit different just because you get that fatigue being on technology all the time. So I'm happy that she's willing to do that with me.
That's great. Yeah, finding other ways to connect that maybe we wouldn't have done prior to this, right? Good. All right, so thinking about the value of connection, which many of us have acknowledged so far based on the first activity that Sonia pointed us to at the beginning, the value of connection really improves our overall quality of life in lots of different ways, very particular to your own personal life in terms of boosting your mental and physical health and increasing feelings of worth and purpose. But I think all of us it's fair to say that because of the current circumstances, we value connection even more. And maybe some of us more than others are craving those types of connections, whether it be in person or even if it is a phone call. Maybe if it is on Zoom too, of course, we might be over Zoomed, right? But it's still an opportunity to connect. And so this is also what Brene Brown talks about in terms of connection, that when we can identify how we benefit from the connection, we strive to maintain it. We strive for that. And so whatever that connection serves, that purpose in your life, essentially the goal is that you work towards that and you hope for that with it for yourself, but also the other person that you're connecting with. And so now I'll leave this over to Sonia. She's going to move us into our creativity part of the program. Sonia?
Awesome. Well, in the interest of time, so we have enough time to do our activity too, I'll just kind of touch on some of these concepts, but raise your hand either physically or with the Zoom feature. Where are my artsy people, my crafters? We've got some around here. Okay, awesome. So I've always been more crafty than athletic. And so I've found a lot of helpfulness in creating. And I think sometimes in the times where we feel suppressed or where we feel like we don't have a lot of freedom, it's always helpful to know that we still have the freedom and the ability to create things and express ourselves in these creative ways. And so doing this can get you in deeper touch with your feelings and emotions. We have art therapy, which we're not doing tonight, but goes at a much deeper level. And again, in times of like fear or anxiety, it gives you like a form of control over something that's more abstract or symbolic in nature. And so you're finally able to say, hey, yes, that red right there, that's all my frustration and anger. And it's kind of this cathartic experience because you can release all the emotions at once. And it's interesting what kind of images or powerful messages come out of what we create. And sometimes there just aren't words for what we want to say. And so images or different art things can help us with that. And then one more here. So along with Tiffany was talking about, the values of connection. So we were like, hey, let's take connection and creativity and just do a double whammy here and sprinkle you guys with all of this wonderful stuff. So being positive also has great health benefits. So it actually does increase your lifespan. You have better pain tolerance. So if you ever are coming out of surgery, the more positive your mindset is, usually the less pain people feel. And of course, for your mental health, you get to express yourself, be creative, you can come up with different coping skills, and just increase your mood overall. So we're hoping some of that happens for you guys tonight. Some suggestions here to kind of increase positivity in your life: practice gratitude. If there's even small things that you're thankful for each day, if you can remind yourself of those, it can be really helpful. Just smiling actually does mess with the chemicals in your body and your brain, so that can be helpful too. And then trying to reframe situations. Now, when we're talking about positivity, it doesn't mean we're saying, hey, whatever is going on in your world that's not going right or is feeling awful isn't important or isn't the actual reality that things are, but rather we're trying to integrate some more positive things in there to kind of counteract the negative in your life. And usually it takes more positive than negative events to counteract them. And one thing you can do is focus on your strengths. And so some of them might be your creativity, some of it might be, you're kind, you like exploring and gaining new knowledge. All of those kinds of things are great to just focus on and strengthen even more. And then it can be helpful sometimes to envision your best possible future, even when it seems really bleak at times. So if we want, we'll go ahead and move on and we'll look at how we can try and do some of this together tonight. So we're going to split you up into breakout groups. Do you think that'll work, Tiffany?
Yeah, I think so. That way we can have a smaller group discussion with 3 in a group maybe, and then come back to the larger group. Sure.
Yeah. Here are some suggestions, some questions that I came up with to kind of help you get started, to get to know one another a little better. Now, I'm not expecting you all to be best friends at the end of this, but to gain a little more information about yourselves and what you value, some of the challenges you've been facing right now. And I'll tell you why this is important. Tiffany, if you can move to the next slide.
Sure.
Thank you. So while you're in your breakout groups, you're going to go ahead and grab your paper and something to draw with. I just use Crayola markers, and you're going to create positive visual messages to share with one another. And this is where gathering some information about each other comes in handy. So I'll show you the example. You don't have to be Picasso or anything here. I certainly, but I made one for Tiffany. So it says, "Even in the darkest times, you shine." And I gave her a little sun.
Thanks, Sonia.
You're welcome. And so I know from getting to know Tiffany a little better, her favorite color is blue. So I put the text in blue. And then we both always talk about the sunshine all the time because it's something we kind of miss. We both really like just laying out in the sun, feeling the warmth and having those bright days. And so that's why I picked this for her. So what we'll do now is we'll break you up into groups. Before we do that, does anyone have any questions?
All right.
Awesome. We're going to copy the question prompts that I came up with and put them in the chat from
Okay.
so you'll have them.
Okay, so I'll stop sharing and then I'll move into breakout rooms. Let's do automatically. And then we will do 3 participants per room. So Sonia, we'll give them about maybe like 8 minutes or so. I'm just looking at the time here because we want to come back to the large group and share a little bit. So
yeah,
5 to 8 minutes or so.
I think that'll work. And
okay,
I'll have to ask a ton of questions and hopefully the smaller group format will make it go a little faster for you guys. So have fun, get to know one another, and we might be popping in and out of your sessions.
All right, so I'll create the rooms. It'll prompt you to join. And here we go. Open all rooms.
It wants me to join a breakout room. Should I do it?
Yeah, let me see. I'll just move you to it. Move to
I can do it.
Room. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Join. You got it? Okay.
Hello.
All right, are we all here? Everyone here? Yeah, I think so. All right, so we just wanted to give everyone an opportunity to share in the larger group. So if any of you would like to share your creation or just talk a little bit about what inspired your creation or some takeaways from your small group discussion. So whoever would like to share.
Okay, I'll go.
Okay.
Am I doing it? Can you see? I probably can't because I don't have any markers.
No, it's good, Dean. That looks good.
I just took an envelope and opened the envelope up.
That works.
It looks great.
What did it say?
This made me think of Paul, and when he was talking about, I was thinking about his brain and how his brain just works. I saw the rainbow, but I thought he's all about trust. And then that wonderful, where is she at? Oh, Cheyenne, that the whole idea of thank you, because she just did some awesome things. And it was all about, you got to revamp your thinking. And in that you give gratitude. So it was supposed to be a crazy mind. I don't know if you could.
That looks great, Dean Pellegrino.
Wonderful.
I like it.
Well, I'll share mine, and this came in part from the dean, who's got a lot going on, and from a lot of the clients that I'm working with who are having some difficulty. So this was my thought.
Aww.
And everybody's looking up, and then of course for me, my little signature is if you say "yay" at the end, it just makes people feel better on some level.
So yay.
Yay.
I can share. Because I registered as an attendee to make sure our link worked. And so I got put in a group, which was great because I was with Maylin and Melissa. And one thing we talked about was that we all really like music a lot. And so just for all of us, I put, you make the world a beautiful symphony.
Nice. So I'll share quick. So I was with Marissa and Ann, and they're both on the phone all the time for work. And so I all right, I'm not a good artist, but I made a lovely little phone, but with a road leading to brighter days, because we will get through this. And so eventually we'll be able to travel again or see our friends. And so it's kind of just a brighter day. Thanks, Paul.
Very nice.
Because I was in with Barbara and with the other Amy and Tiffany. And I really liked one of the things that Barbara said about like being home and feeling good about being home, and that it was a soft place to land. So I drew her house on a cloud as a nice little soft place to be.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's
great.
Cool. Art. So I'm very proud of this because I'm not artistic.
That's awesome, Amy.
Poor Amy reaches out to others and connects, and those are the hands that I drew. So that's my normal artsy abilities.
Looks like a Thanksgiving chicken.
You didn't
even think
I
of
meant
that.
turkey.
A turkey. Yeah. That's
Something like
awesome.
chicken.
Great.
Oh well.
You know, it also reminded me of Up.
I'll go next, Tiffany, since Amy just went. But Amy shared about her furry soulmate, which I will never forget her saying that, because that is so true for me too. That's really been one of her saving graces during this stay at home. That her pet has really challenged her to get out and do more, and I just really think that's beautiful. I think we're pets can really mean a lot, whether it's a horse in the family Amy photo, or it's a dog, or you come visit your friends with pets, whatever. It just means a lot. So I wrote a little gratitude. I don't know if you can see it. I put gratitude and I put furry soulmate right there.
Yay.
Awesome. That's great, Barbara.
Cute.
Well, since I was in that group too, I'll share my Picasso creation. So I too added what was supposed to be a dog up here. I don't know. It looks kind of like a scary man with his tongue hanging out, but it is supposed to be a dog. But it was this idea that we all, and I didn't really share this piece, but we all did share a great sense of gratitude for the animal creatures in our lives, dogs and pets beyond that. And that has been true for my children in all of this, which has been a wonderful gift, is not just the human connections in our home, but our animal connections have been really crucial for some of their needing to manage and deal with it. And I added in a few other things, just that Scranton was kind of the piece that connected all of us. I don't even know if you can see what I'm talking about, but here it is. Connected all of us together from many parts of the world, and all of the outreach that we do impact so many people. We're all still very connected, even though we're not, physically in contact, through compassion and love. And my mantra has been for a long, long time, this too shall pass. And I remind myself of that we're in it, but it's not forever, and it changes. And so the good, the bad, and the ugly is part of all of this. And I'm a lover of the sunshine. So that's my I'm grateful for all those things.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Amy. Awesome. Anyone else like to share? I'm just looking at our time. We just have one more slide to just share with you, and then we'll end. But go ahead, Maylin. You want to share with us?
Yeah, so, okay, I'm unmuted. So I was in the group with Melissa and Dr. Lund, and I remember Melissa said how she felt very supported by her. She's lucky with the friends that she has and her fiance, and Dr. Lund has great family and friends, even though she's a little bit disconnected because of the distance. But I also kind of drew this, which says kindness changes everything. Because I think when we were talking about how we're all in Scranton, that Scranton is just a very, very kind and comfortable place to be. And just kind of reminding us to be kind to ourselves, and that we are surrounded by kindness, and that it really does change into positivity. And I also use the blue background because I really like the color blue, and it just feels like a very calm color.
You have beautiful handwriting, Maylin.
Really? I was thinking
like,
the same thing.
I was like, are you doing calligraphy?
Oh, awesome. Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's a great way to end tonight. Thank you. So on this slide, Sonia and I just wanted to share with all of you 10 ways to deepen your connections. Of course, we could continue to add to this list forever, right? And the way that you choose to deepen your connection can be something very personal to you, or very particular based on the connection that you're trying to deepen, right? And so our hope for all of you is that you find those ways to connect, that those connections are genuine, that you remain present and grateful for those connections. And I think I can speak for all of us that we all look forward to connecting in person, hopefully in the fall when we return to campus. So thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate the opportunity to share and to learn from each of you. So we wish you all the best in the future. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. It was fantastic.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Everyone take care, be well.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.